Mouse PI for Hire is actually being received really well right now, apart from what?
Too much cheese?
Everything is about cheese. Everything. A bad guy, he's a cheese-legger.
Gorgonzola picante slapped on a mozzarella platter.
Swear on my mama's cottage curds.
This is charming initially, then it never stops.
But overall, most agree it's a really good game. Which is weird because this game is basically built out of stuff we've already seen before. It looks like Cuphead, plays like Doom, and even pulls references from all over the place. So why doesn't it feel like a ripoff? It's not like it tries to hide its influences. There's a really fine line between copying something and taking inspiration, but the intention does definitely matter. Mouse PI feels like it tries to load up its play with a whole bunch of different cheeses and blends them all together to make a brand new experience. Get it? Because the game talks about cheese, so while on paper it might seem cheap, it turns out a lot better than most would assume. As someone who adores Cuphead, the hand-drawn 1930s style visuals were the main selling point for me before I even knew it was a shooter. It captures a very similar feel through rubber hose animation, a jazzy soundtrack, and cartoony sound effects. It has that same energy but with an exaggerated, jokingly serious, dark and gritty noir vibe where it feels like everyone has secrets of their own, so the vibe is definitely still unique enough. And since it isn't a side-scroller, they had to make a decision on how the world was designed. It's a 2.5D style, I guess I can say. The world is 3D, but the characters are flat 2D sprites or like standy cardboard cutouts where they're either looking directly at you or facing the opposite way. I love the way Mouse kicks off because I'm a sucker for detail, especially when it comes to cool visuals and great sound design. This is how you reel me in. When you enter the first room, you hear a cymbal loop, and they don't actually cue in the other instruments until you go through that first door and start learning the controls. I love when music in games starts to progress as you move through levels, because this is when everything feels more alive. Moments like this make it feel like the game is reacting to you, and you're not just playing out a predetermined experience. I also like how the game frames everything as one long flashback with Jack Pepper narrating parts as you go. It actually gives the gray color palette a whole other purpose, since flashbacks in a lot of classic movies and shows are usually shown without color. It's a small detail, but it adds to that noir feel the game is going for. The story itself is definitely carried more by the atmosphere though. It's not bad, and I don't think it's meant to be taken too seriously either. I'm looking at you, IGN. But at its core, it's just a pretty standard detective story. It's convincing enough to keep you playing, but maybe that's more because of the gameplay than the story itself. And the gameplay is just very Doom. I don't find it to be as hard, even as someone playing on the hardest difficulty, but it does follow that same structure where some environments you are completely locked in until you defeat a bunch of waves of enemies, or even whether it's the weapon wheel or obtaining more weapons the more you play, or with how you get stronger after every level through various new abilities and upgrades. The secret toy collectibles that you find throughout each mission did also carry that Doom vibe. I'm not here to say that collectibles and secrets are copying Doom, but with them being toys that are also displayable in the hub area, it definitely had me reminiscing. I think these collectibles gave me a reason to spend time actually exploring each room in these levels, and even with that, the missions were never really too long. I'd argue that they were all pretty perfect in length, as any longer they would probably start to drag out. A mini complaint would maybe be the structure of the missions, as it did get repetitive when I would show up to a place, talk to one person having revealed one little minute detail to help me uncover a lead and leave. But then again, I'm a detective. The game was obviously created by people who love video games. Not only do they take inspiration from a lot of different mechanics and styles, they pay hella homage to other games too. Being able to save with a typewriter was already convincing enough that someone who developed this game loves Resident Evil, but once you step in the MPD, short for Mouse Police Department, there's countless nods to the RPD from RE2. There was just so many different events where, based on the pure randomness of dialogue, I could tell it was a reference to something, but I just didn't have a deep enough bag to actually catch what the callbacks were.
Here's Jacko.
And I think that's really what makes all of this work. None of these ideas are new on their own, but they're put together in a way that feels intentional. It's not like the game is just grabbing random mechanics and styles and throwing them in. Everything fits the same tone, the same world, and the same overall vibe. That's the difference between something feeling like a ripoff and something feeling inspired. This game proves something simple. It's not just about being original. It's about knowing what to do with what already exists.